So I think I had given two programs, right? One is this one, which I'm showcasing here. That is, the program statement is find the maximum of three numbers using nested if, isn't it? And I think I had given one more problem. That problem is find the minimum of three numbers using, I think, LC ladder. These are the two programs which I had given. Am I audible, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
First one is finding the maximum of three numbers using nested if, and the second is finding the minimum of three numbers using LC ladder. Okay. Now, those who have not done, let us quickly go through that particular program and try to understand. Okay. Now here, this program, finding the maximum of three numbers, we have to do it using the nested if. Nested if means if condition present within another if or an else statement, right? So here, initially, as three numbers are required, we will ask user to enter three numbers. Okay, and I have taken one more variable, max, okay, which will get assigned to a particular number or the variable, which is basically a maximum among the three numbers. Okay, now, so enter three numbers message will be displayed on the screen, and the user will enter three numbers and through this particular scanf statement and get stored into these three variables. Now, initially, we will just try to check whether that if that A is greater than B. If A is greater than B, then we will, if this is true, then I need to compare with the another variable C. So I will do the same check if A greater than C. Now understand here, if A greater than B, if it is true, then only it gets entered into this block. And here we have if A greater than C. Okay, and if this condition is also true, then only this our max will get assigned to A. So our maximum will be A here. Okay, then suppose the inner block here, this is the inner if condition. If this inner if condition is false, if this inner condition is false, then definitely the maximum is what? Maximum will be the C. Okay, now suppose if the outer if block, if this condition, if itself is a false, means definitely B is greater than A. So in that case, it will come into the else block. It will come into the else block. In the else block, again, we will try to check. So as of now, when it enters into the else block, we know that B is greater than A. Then we will try to check the B with C also. If B is again greater than C, that means B is maximum. So our max will become B here. Otherwise, if this condition is false, that means what? Our maximum is what? The C variable. Then correspondingly display the max over here. Okay. Now, do you find any different or any type of a different statements which I have written in this particular program? I want to discuss on that particular part here. Any different you notice here? Any difference you notice here? Anyone? I will give you a hint here. Okay. The hint is the flower brackets. Somewhere I have not written the flower brackets.
In sub conditions.
In sub conditions. Very good. So in sub conditions means line number 14 here. So here, look at here. So far, whenever this if block is there, else block is there, what we were doing, we were writing the brackets like this, right? And then once that particular if block is completed, then we used to write the closing brackets, isn't it? Now, but in this particular program, I did not write these brackets here. I just skipped writing these particular blocks here. Okay, now let us check whether such programs gets executed or not. Okay, let's go to the terminal, compile the program, GCC, program number is 15 in this case. See here, there are no errors. Let us execute and check. 1 second. Say 4, 2, 6. Maximum is 6. So program is executing and among these three numbers 6 is the maximum. Then how come the program did not throw us any errors over here? Because pay attention and try to understand. We have talked about earlier that block means a group of statements. If there are more than one statements, okay, and if you want to put it into a group, then we place them into a open flower bracket and a corresponding closing flower bracket. Right now, look at here the outer if here. In this outer if, what do we have? Inside this, we have more than one statements. We have more than one statements. So all these statements we have put it inside what? Inside the brackets, inside the flower bracket. But when you look into the inner if condition, inner this line number 14, we have only one statement corresponding to the true block here. We have only one statement corresponding to this particular if condition. So when this condition is true, it is going to execute only one statement. Okay. Now, if the condition is false, then also this else, in the else, there is only one statement that has to be executed. That means when the if block or a else block, okay, in that blocks, if we have only one statement to be executed, if we have only one statement to be executed, then in such cases, we no need to write the brackets like this. Okay, we no need to place the brackets like this. Even if we place the brackets, no problem, there will not be any errors and all. Okay, in an ideal situation, as a best programming concepts, what we usually do is that whenever we find that if there is only one statement that has to be executed for the blocks such as if and the else, then we don't write these brackets. Instead of that, directly we will write the statement. So when this else is true, it will execute this statement. But suppose if there could be a more than one statement, in such cases, we mandatorily have to write the multiple block. That is the blocks we need to mention, the open and closing brackets. If there is only one statement, in such case, we no need to mention the brackets. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, suppose if I write here, say printf, I will write inside else. I will just writing one printf statement inside else. Now, let me remove these brackets as of now. As I said, it's not necessary to write. Okay. Now what will happen, student? Inside this else, how many statements we have written?
2.
Inside else. Now, okay, let me change my question here. What do you think? How many statements are there as part of this else block? This line number 16. Okay, when this condition becomes false, in the line number 16, what do you think? How many statements will come under this else block now? I have written, after this, I have written 2 lines, 2 statements are there. Are these, both the lines will be considered as the false block, or only the first line will be considered as the false block?
So only the first line.
The first line.
Only the first line. What about others? Did you
Both will be considered.
Question is here, line number 16, 17, 18. 16, 17, 18, there is a else. Right. So when this else block, that is the false block here. In this case, after that, there are 2 statements. So what do you think? in the else block, whether it considers only one statement, that is 17, or both 17 and 18 is the question. Few of them answered it to be what? Only the 17 line will be considered, whereas 18.
Both will be.
Okay, both will be considered. Right? Now, shall we test this one? Shall we test what happens here? So if we want to enter into this else block, then definitely our C should be maximum. C should be maximum, A should be a middle value, and B should be a smallest value. So corresponding to that, let me give the values. Okay, compile the program, no errors, run the program. So I need to enter the number such a way that first number is a middle value, then second number is the smallest value, and the third is the maximum value. Okay, see here. What happened here? Inside else is displayed, and then maximum 4 is displayed. When I entered like this, what you can think is that, okay, say with this particular value 3 to 4, it has entered into the else block and it has displayed these things. It has displayed what? Inside else is displayed, and then the maximum is displayed. Correct? Now I will change the sequence here. This time I will enter the numbers to be 4, 2, and 1. Now also what are we getting here? We are getting inside else, even though the first number is maximum. Okay, but still it is going into this loop. Let us try to understand this. Okay, first instance, what we had the numbers 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, and 4. So now is 3 greater than 2? Yes, condition is true. Condition is true. Then it comes over here. So is 3 greater than 4? No, condition is false. Condition false means it comes over here. We don't know whether both statement will be executed or not. Both statement will be executed or not, but we got the output something like this. Inside else maximum is 4. So inside else is executed, and then we are getting this maximum value getting printed. Okay, that is the first instance. Second time we entered 4 to 1. So for the 4 to 1, let us see the tracing here. 4 to 1. So now here 4 to 1 is 4 greater than 2. Yes, it is true. Okay, then second one is 4 greater than 1. Yes, that is also true. That is also true. So when this is true, which statement has to be executed? This max equal to A should be executed. Okay, then what do you think, whether this else will be taken care? That is, if we assume that both the statements are part of the else, then in this case, are these statements gets executed or will be skipped?
Skipped.
It will be
executed.
if we assume that these both statements come under the else, in such case, so with this example, it should skip the execution of these two statements, right? Directly it has to execute maximum equal to that 4 value. But when you look into this output here, what are we getting? Inside else. So inside else means what? This particular statement is getting printed. It is being executed basically. That means what? Our assumption which we made that both these statements are part of the else is wrong. Our assumption which we made that both these statements are part of the else block is wrong. Okay, so why it is wrong? Because the else, the block here, I have not placed any open and close brackets. If I don't mention any open and close bracket, so by default it says that only the first statement followed by the else is part of the else block. Nikhilesh Pawar, mute yourself. Okay, so our assumption what we made earlier that both of these statements are part of the else, but it failed when we executed. Our assumption came to be a wrong. Why? Because when, if you look into these statements, after the else, we have not placed any open or a close brackets, right? That indicates that after the else, the first statement will be considered as the false block and only one statement will be considered over here. The second statement will not be considered as the else block. So the flow of execution is what? We know it is from the top to bottom. It comes over here, it checks the condition, condition is true. Okay, that condition is true means it will enter inside the if. So in this if, again there is a condition, this condition is again true, means the true block will be executed, that is max equals to A will be executed, right? After that, in the else block, only these are the statements, that is max equal to C. This will be skipped. After skipping this one, what is the next statement? Next statement is printf inside else. So it will go ahead and execute inside else statement. So that's why when we execute the program, we are getting this output stating to be a inside else getting displayed. Now, on a contrary, if you put up brackets here, if I put up brackets here, say, just putting the brackets here. Now what will happen? Since I have explicitly mentioned the block, both these statements will be considered as what? As the false block. And this time, if I run the program with these values, let's compile. If I run the program with the same values, that is 4, 2, and 1. Look at here, this time it did not display inside else, right? It directly went to the maximum 4. It will only display when the values are like this 3, 2, and 4, it will display inside else. That is the understanding of the blocks. When there is only one statement, we no need to mention the blocks explicitly by writing the open and closing brackets. It is absolutely fine if we skip also. Okay, and if there are multiple statements that has to be considered inside a block, then only we are supposed to write the brackets, a pair of flower brackets. Is that understood, student?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now onwards, whenever if we find that a block has only one statement, shall we skip writing the flower brackets, a pair of flower brackets, and just write the statement? That should be
Yes, sir.
right. And one thing you need to understand here, in any programming language, whenever you read the programs, suppose if there is a block in the sense, this is an open block, right? It is opening flower bracket. Next statement, we have to write with the proper indentation. Indentation means give some space here. So usually what we do, we press the tab button. So see, on the keyboard, we have the tab button, right? If I press the tab button, it will take a few spaces by default. And corresponding all statements will write in the same line here. Look at here, all these statements are in the same line. Now look at again here. After this if condition, 13, I have an open bracket. Then there are certain statements I need to write. Then such statements I have not written in the same line here. Instead of that, what I made, I just again pressed the tab. So that just indication that, okay, all these are part of this if block. Again, look at here, this max equal to A. If I write in the same way, what will readability of the program is difficult here. Instead of that, if I write a tab, it is much readable. We can understand the code very easily. So when you write the programs, always make use of the tabs for the indentation. If you think that some statements are there which falls into one block, then put it into an indentation. You can generalize those things. This is the else. Inside this else, I have two statements. So these two are indented towards the right side. Right? So I hope this particular indentation is understood, student. Just it's not hard and strict rule that you have to follow this one. But if you write this one, then you will become a good programmer. You can understand and you can try to troubleshoot the problems or any errors very easily. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let us try to make some more changes in the program. Okay. Now, let me take off all these lines. I will remove this also, not required. Remove this as well. Okay. Now, say, let me run the program once again, compile the program, be clear. Now, so this time I'm entering the numbers, say 3, 2, 3. What should be the output? When the numbers are 3, 2, 3, what should be the output?
3.
3 is maximum, sir. C.
3 is maximum. Correct? Now, what about in this case?
3.
So 3 is maximum.
3 is maximum. But do you think that when all the three numbers are equal, will it make little sense to display that all numbers are equal?
Yes, sir.
When two numbers are equal and that is the maximum, no problem. We can just say that 3 is maximum. But when all the three numbers are equal, then in such programs, is it make some sense to display a message stating to be instead of maximum is 3, we can say that all numbers are equal, right? So if so, then how can we change this program in order to display the message properly? When all the three numbers are equal, it should just display all numbers are equal. If not, then only go ahead and try to perform and check which one is maximum. How can we change this program here? Can anyone think of? See, these questions basically are what? This will help you to enhance your logic building activities. Logic building means how we can solve if there are these type of problems given. How can we try to modify the program and how can we come up with the solution for those things? If I give the all the solutions written, then it will not be like a you have everything ready with you. You no need to do anything. Just look into the code and understand or by heart it. But whenever if I give the questions like this and if I ask you to find out the solution, then it will make little sense that you will try to find the solution. Okay, by what means or how we can apply those things and all and get the answer. Now, who can tell me here, how can we change this program so that if all the three numbers are equal, it should display a message to stating to be all numbers are equal. If not, yes.
Sir, if we can use if A is greater than or equal to B.
If A is greater than or equal to B. So you mean to be here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then?
If A is greater than or equal to C.
Okay.
Sir, then in the instead of max A, we can use the statement as all the three numbers are equal.
No, sir. Then for other numbers, it will not be
Yeah,
possible.
yeah. We'll see what he's telling. Let us try to see. Absolutely. We in programming languages, if you think that okay, something is striking your mind, that you write the statement and then check it. Let it be errors, let it be logical errors. Try it out and then try to find out why it is wrong. Okay. Printf, say you mean to say something like this, right?
Sir,
T maximum or say no
all the three numbers are
equal, isn't it? Now if this is the case, let's check it out here only. We will enter all the three numbers equal and check it. Okay, compile 3 3 3. Look at here, all are equal and maximum is 0. Fine, forget maximum. Okay, let's run again. I'm entering 3 2 1. What it is displaying? All are equal. Even though all numbers are not equal, it is displaying all numbers are equal. So that means there is some logic mistake which we did by just writing this equals to sign. So this is not possible now. Now we have to think, then how can we include that one? How can we write that particular statement? So It's not possible now.
So can you?
So
Okay.
what if we extend one more else statement for the equal?
For the equal, one more else statement. Okay. Any other suggestions? Any other thoughts? A girl was telling something. What was that, miss?
So yes. So I was thinking the changes should be done down, sir. The else part, the else which is there,
Uh-huh.
not that one, sir. The downer one, the lower one, lower.
23.
Yeah, there.
Uh-huh.
If we would do it as else if and then put a statement like C is greater to B
Uh-huh.
or C is greater to B, and then after that put another printf statement and write that all are equal, and then slash n is equals to
Okay.
max.
No. In that case also, as per my experience, it will not work it out. Okay. Now let me give a hint here. Pay attention to the words what I say here. Pay attention. This is a hint. You read all the numbers. You read all the three numbers. If all three numbers are equal, display all are equal. Else, go for checking the respective maximum number. I will repeat the
Sir,
statement
we
once
can
again
use this
here.
statement, sir.
Yes, come here. Okay, come again.
If
If
A is, we
A,
can use double equal to
A double equals to
B,
B,
and sir, logical AND operator,
yes,
B equal to C, B
B
double equal
equals
to
to
C.
C.
So then inside that we can use a print statement that
Okay, something like this.
yes, sir.
Okay, then
And next statement we can, sir, for scan. Sorry, sir.
scanf.
Only
No, scanf
No, sir.
is already done, no?
No, sir. No.
Hmm.
At the if statement, second if statement, we have to make it else or
Else, right? See what I said earlier. Check whether after reading the inputs, check whether all the three numbers are equal, right? So how can we check all the numbers are equal? If A equals to B and B equals to C, that means if this is true, then all the numbers are equal. So display that one. So if this is false, means if all the three numbers are not equal, then proceed with doing all these steps, right? So here in the else, I will consider all these statements to be part of the else, right? Since it is a block, what I will do here, I will just make the proper indentation to just understand it properly. Look at here, how I just changed the program here. Initially, we had only this thing, okay? But we want to cover the scenario when all the three numbers are equal. So what change I did? Initially, I will try to check whether all the three numbers are equal or not. If true, it will say this one. If false, then only it will go into the else block and will do or will perform all these checks, right? Save the program. Let us check it out whether it works or not. Compile, no errors. So let's straight away go with the all three equal numbers, 3, 3, 3. All three numbers are equal. Is that correct? Right? Then
Yes,
suppose
sir.
if I execute in a different way, say 3, 2, 3. That time maximum is 3. Absolutely correct. If I run in this way, 3, 2, 1, maximum is 3. That is also correct. If I run to be, say 4, 3, 7, maximum is 7. So now our program is capable of handling all the possible scenarios, right? If two numbers are equal, definitely that number it will display as a maximum. If any one is maximum, it will definitely handle that case. And if all the three numbers are equal, then it will display all three numbers are equal. So isn't it, this statement will help us in identifying that particular scenario? Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
Right? So this way you can try to enhance your logic building activities. If there is only one given problem, what could be the other solutions? Or if we enter different set of values, how the program behaves and all. Based upon that, you can come up with your own solutions and try to apply over there. Okay, fine. Now, one more point I will just try to explain here. Another concept, small, very small concept. Look at here, the main function. Suppose probably you might have suppose if you were looking into some programs in a Google or some way, some textbooks or any e-content and all, you might have seen somewhere that instead of writing the void main, something like int main written. Has anybody noticed anywhere that instead of void main, there will be something called as an int main?
Yes, sir. In our mobile, in that coding C application, in that, sir, it will come as int main.
Int main, exactly. Right? If you are using any apps on your mobile, the compiler for the C programming, there you will see instead of this void main, it will be a int main, right?
Int main, sir.
The online compiler, the website which I had given, we had given to you, there also you will find it to be a int main, right? Now you said that you have found this int main. What is the whenever this main is int, what is the other observation you have made? Any other statement extra or additionally written in that particular code?
Return zeros.
Return 0 at last, it will be written, sir.
Return 0 at the last statement. Last statement means this is the opening bracket. Its corresponding closing is over here. Just before this,
For that.
this statement, there will be one more statement. Return 0. Return 0. Okay, I will just explain you in a simple program here. Let me take it up a simple program. Okay, simple is there? What it is? Oh, fine. Let me take off all this content. I don't want. I will just write simple printf. Welcome. Okay. So what we were discussing here is that so far the main function, what I had written was something like void main. Okay. Now, some of you had already come across with something. They said that instead of this void main, there will be something called as an int main. And when if it is an int main, then the last statement will be something called as return 0. Return 0. So what actually this meaning of this int main and return 0 is? Okay. In detail, we will discuss this concept in the upcoming classes later, probably another 20 or 30 days after that, we will discuss it when we cover up the functions concept. But at this present, let me explain in short. So this int main, as I said, main is what? Main is the function, right? It is a function. So before that function name, if I write a void indicates, this main is not returning anything. Okay, void means not returning any value. Okay, then on the contrary, on the other hand, we have something called as an int. Int means returning an integer value. So when we had written a void int, you have not noticed me writing a return 0 statement. It was not at all there. But when I make it to be a int main, that means this main is returning some value. It is returning some value. What type of value? Which is defined here, that is integer type of value. It is returning integer type of value. So to return that one, there is a keyword by the name return, right? By the name return. You can see here it is in a blue color. It is coming in a blue color. That means this is a keyword. What it does, it returns some value. What type of value? integer value. So 0 I have given here. So we just understood that int main means main is returning some value of integer type. So return 0 we need to write. Now you may have a doubt here. So to which particular entity it is giving this 0, or to whom this 0 is given, right? I just mentioned here, returning an integer value. The main function is returning a 0 value, but to whom it is giving, to whom this value 0 is being given or returned to, right? So to understand that, you need to understand one more concept called as, we know that main function is executed. Whenever we execute the program execution begin from what? The main function. Means suppose from we say that operating system executes the program. Operating system executes the program. OS means operating system. Operating system executes the students. Just 2 minutes is there. Put in your attendance quickly. Go ahead and enter the attendance. I will just explain to you in a couple of minutes. Now, OS executes the program. Means what it means? It means OS invokes or calls main function. Meaning of this statement is what? OS executes the C program means operating system invokes or operating system calls this main function. And when it is calling main function and main is returning some value like int, that means this 0 will be given to whom? It will be given to operating system. After the execution is completed, how can I say after the execution is completed? Because this is the last statement of the main. When all the statements are executed, then this return will come, and then this return 0 means 0 will be given back to whom? It will given back to operating system. So in the program, whenever you find that int main is there, then definitely return 0 will be there. If it is a void, then that means our main function is not returning anything. That means you can remove this return 0 statement. Okay, just remember that if it is a int main, return 0 should be there. If it is void main, then no need to have any return statement. As simple as that. Okay. Hope you have entered the attendance and hope this simple concept is understood. Any doubts, students?
No, sir.
Right?
No, sir.
As of now, if you are finding it as a complicated, just remember that in the program, if I write void main, that means what? No return statement. Okay. If it is a int, then the last statement means before this closing bracket, you have to write return 0. That's it. Okay. We will discuss in detail these things. You have a separate concept which is very important in order to understand the functions and all. Okay. During that time, I will cover up the why this return 0 is there and everything I will during that time. Okay. As of now, just remember this in this way. Okay.